podcast show on Showtime called All the Smoke, I think. So, Steven, this question: if Steven Jackson would have kept his cool and stuck around, there's no doubt in my mind that he would have helped the Spurs win another title in 2013. People forget that he was let go literally days before the playoffs. Now I know we're kind of jumping back in the time machine here, but at the same time, this is a very fun question. I felt like I think everyone has their own opinion on Steven Jackson when he was here with the Spurs, and some people separate what he did after and what he did while he was here. Some people don't, and that's totally fine. It's all up to you guys. But let's go ahead and throw it to you, Destin, first. What do you think about Steven Jackson, and could he helped us win another title in 2013?
Man, that's hard to say. I mean, in 2013, it's not like we were a piece away or anything. We literally just messed it up. I mean, we started missing free throws.
Well, hold on real quick, Clan. Let me ask you, was it 2012? It was 2012, I think is what she meant, right?
Oh, 2012?
Right, because 2013 was the Miami Heat, right? So no worries, Monty. We got you, 2012.
Okay, 2012 is when we lost to the Thunder, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, no, I don't think he – but me personally, I don't think he would have helped us because against that Thunder series, I mean, it was – how it ended, I remember it was Ibaka, like, shooting, like, crazy amount of shots. I mean, we were just killed. And I just feel like I'm a believer of, like, if you're bringing that type of drama, because I believe that the problem with Steven Jackson was that he wanted to get more minutes than Manu, right? Because wasn't he having some issues with the amount of time that Manu was getting?
I don't know if it was him or Kawhi. You know what? Right now, we're all kind of like jumping through this time machine together. I can see it on all of our faces. Did he start the 2013 season with us? Because I remember him playing against OKC. Didn't he play in the playoffs against OKC or no?
I don't think he was part of that season, to be honest, because we traded Richard Jefferson for him, and then I think he was kicked out right before the 2012 playoffs.
Okay.
Because we signed Tracy McGrady in the 2013 season to kind of fill his spot.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Destin, any final thought on Steven Jackson?
Yeah, I feel I would say no. I mean, I know that he did contribute quite a bit. Maybe we could have used him, but I feel like as far as like jumping to what we have won a championship that year, I can't jump on that wagon. Maybe it's easy because we did win in 2014, where I could just say that, but at the same time, he was bringing some type of drama, and it just wasn't fitting with the team. And I thought that it had to do with Manu. Mm-hmm. But, even if it had to do with, any player, him having a problem with it, I thought that was just kind of crazy. I know that he said that. Now, I do remember this. All right. Now I'm starting to remember a little bit. He ended up saying that Popovich wanted him to go to Manu and tell Manu that he was better than him or something like that. Like, that's in Steven Jackson words. That's what Pop wanted. And he was like, no, I'm not going to do it. And then that kind of led to even more friction. They said, all right, we got to let you go. But, yeah, I'm just a believer that drama and all that, it just wouldn't have really helped us or manifested itself well. I mean, if he was on the team, we still would have won in 2012. Who's to say that he would have been, fully on board with the way that we were doing things in 2013 or 2014? So I think that the way that everything kind of shaped out, when it came into 2014, it worked out perfectly. Everybody was on board. There was no drama. Everybody was, all the way in. They were happy with their rotations. Everyone knew their role. So, yeah, if he would have accepted that role at the time, yeah, he probably would have won. But I don't know. I mean, Steven Jackson was a handful at that time, around that period.
Yeah. Real quick before we throw it to you, Harrison, you brought up the trade for him and Richard Jefferson. A little tidbit. I'm gonna toot my own horn here for a second. Y'all know Michael DeLeon from Project Spurs? All right. So I was in college at that time. During that season, I was still in college, and I interviewed Michael for like some class that I was doing. And I had told him like months before the trade happened, I was like, you know what, man, I just feel like Steven Jackson might be a guy that we need. I think we need to get rid of RJ and bring in Steven Jackson. He was like, no, man, all the drama, all the nonsense. I'm like, yeah, but Pop might be able to keep him under control. And I was like, the only reason why I say this is because, and it was a lot of like what I thought, the same thought process I thought about Keldon this year was how he just has what we need, and I felt like that year too, it was just like Steven had that rough, tough, and, Marcus Morris attitude that team needed. Like RJ was just too soft. He wasn't going to start nothing. He was just out there doing his thing, but we needed that guy to kind of get after it. And like about a month later, the trade happened. So I had to tweet at Michael and be like, hey man, I called that. You know what I mean? But Harrison, what are your thoughts on Stack 5? If he was, could we have gotten another ring if he had kept his cool?
I mean, obviously he would have helped to have a guy on a team of that caliber, but I don't know. Watching our collapse against the Thunder in that postseason, I mean, we were up 2-0, weren't we? And then lost 4 straight. I mean, they flat out killed us. And you're looking at, Steven Jackson's a good defender and a solid 3-point shooter, but I mean, OKC had 3 future MVPs on that team, and I mean Westbrook was killing Tony Parker with his athleticism and speed, and then James Harden's giving Manu fits off the bench at the same time, and then we're struggling. We've got a rookie Kawhi Leonard trying to defend prime Kevin Durant coming into his prime, in fact. And, Tim Duncan's got his hands full with the leading shot blocker in the league and Ibaka at the time. I mean, and then they had Perkins as their center, who's another good defensive guy. It's just, yeah, it would have helped to have a guy like that on the team. But I also think that you have to look at the domino effect. If he gets put in there to help guard Durant, I think we still probably lose. And then Kawhi Leonard misses out on valuable experience guarding a high-level player like that, which he then takes into the next season against LeBron, and then the following season against the same guy. I mean, Boris Diaw gets minutes, and then he guards LeBron in the next 2 finals. So I think, yeah, sure, he would have helped the team some, but I don't think that's a guaranteed title with him on it. I think him leaving opens up room for guys to do what they did and get us that title in 2014.
Yeah, absolutely. Matty, any final thoughts on Stack 5?
But no, we're talking about that 2012 series against the Thunder because he was in that series. He did play in that series.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so just making sure I got everything.
Yeah, because he did play.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, I was just pulling up the stats, and he was off the bench, and he had a decent series that year. But if I remember that series right, I mean, James Harden killed us off the bench. I remember he shot very well from 3-pointer and just drove me insane. As far as how he could have helped us in the next few years, I don't really know how you can say whether or not he would have. I prefer drama-free locker rooms, and I'm not saying he would have for sure caused drama, but I think you look at some of the stuff he said that hasn't been popular among Spurs fans. I think there's a little saltiness there.
Oh yeah,
he was. I think what he say like. Was he the one that said we would have won like 8 championships if it wasn't for Manu? Was that him?
He said he was better than Manu. I remember last summer.
Yeah.
Last summer he did.
Yeah, I think he's just a guy that just has to have the spotlight, and I think he was very salty after the Spurs cut him, and then the Spurs went on to win a championship. So it was like, I'd be pissed too. So, he was a good player for the Spurs. I never had any problems with him. When they got Richard Jefferson, I wasn't freaking out or anything, but whether he would have helped us in 2013, I don't think so. I think he did a good job with the Spurs, and I just leave it at that.
Yeah, I think most of Spurs Nation feels the same way. It's like, yeah, we compartmentalize 2003 Steven Jackson, and we kind of like to keep it there until he opens his mouth and starts saying all this nonsense. But you know what? Like I like you, I have nothing against Steven Jackson. I actually really like Steven Jackson. I like the cut of his jib. I like his attitude. I love his swag. I like how he's that type of player that thinks no one can guard him. Like no one now, no one ever, no one in the future, no one can guard me. I'm that good. And even though, it's like, yeah, okay, like relax. Sometimes that's what it needs to, that's the attitude you need to kind of take your game to the next level and kind of have that mentality. And even though he kind of, he was just a role player and all that stuff for the most part. Yeah, I don't think he would have helped us win any more championships. especially because of the young budding Kawhi Leonard that was about to take his minutes. If he was mad about Manu taking some of his minutes off the bench, it was about to get worse, and I don't think it was going to be a good fit for him. All right, so let's go ahead and go on to the next question. This next question comes from Spurs Fan Blog.